That time was really funny. But it's true. You see, being a devotee, actually, when you call yourself a devotee, your life actually changes. From better to worse. And that you can acknowledge that, all of you. How many times I have heard people saying, you know, my life was much better before. But now, I feel more happy. It was good. I had everything. But the most important thing, I didn't have. Happiness. Happiness is not something that comes and goes. No. The happiness that I see in the devotee, I'm talking for my devotee, I'm not talking about other devotees, I'm talking about you people. It's a different happiness. I have seen people, a few days ago I was in Wiesbaden, looking at everybody. When I came back from India, just coming out from the airport, I wanted to run back. Looking at the people sitting there, very stern and very unhappy. But when you're a devotee, it's different. There's a happiness which comes from deep within. A happiness which is not only through your initiation, but that happened. It is through you having the willingness to change. And in that change, it is selfless. Because nobody is putting a gun on your head, say convert. Nobody is saying, you have to be like this or you have to be like that. No, you have that willingness now to transform yourself, to change yourself. And due to that, this is a different reality between forcing somebody to change and the willingness to change. What is the difference? The difference is, by forcing yourself to change, it doesn't last for long. But the willingness, I want to change, that lasts forever. Because in one there is the selfish motive behind that, and one have the selfless motive behind. One, you do it for being selfish. Because everybody is wearing a tilak, I also have to wear a tilak. Because everybody is dressed fancy, I also want to dress fancy. If everybody is going to the temple, I also want to go to the temple. We call it a show. No. We call it you want to show off, to the people outside, but then you are not truthful towards yourself. There are many people like that in this world. And they will never engage to do the next step. Because that which is inside of them will never happen. It will never make them, you see, like I said earlier, if something is fake, stay fake. If you are fake with yourself inside, you will be fake in the outside. What Swami Guru was saying earlier, a devotee, when I send them in Varanasi to look for devotee, and nobody become devotee in one day. But if you want to become a big criminal, that is very easy. You see the different. A saint, you may give the saint alcohol in a golden pot. If that saint is sincere, he will throw it away. He will not bother about the gold, he will not bother about anything. But what is inside, it's contaminated. If it is contaminated, you don't get involved with that, which is contaminated. Understand what it is. Outside, you may be beautified yourself. You can be however you want. But what is inside of you? That's what counts. Bhagavan don't look on the outside. He is the one which dwells inside of your heart. You may fake the outside as much as you want. What about Bhagavan which is seated inside of your heart? What about Sriman Narayana which is here inside of you? Can you fake towards him? You can't. That's why when you become a devotee, that state of selfless have to awake inside of you. Selflessly, Bhagavan have given himself to you. Selflessly, you have given yourself to Bhagavan also. There's a beautiful story, if I remember it. That's always. There was a widow and his son, her son. So one day they heard that the king is passing by, and mother and son went on the street. When the king passed by, everybody stand and look. So they saw the king, very majestic, passing. And the son said to the mother, "Mother, I want to talk to the king. I want to talk to the king." Mother didn't answer to the child, and she just smiled. But that child was persistent. In the evening, when the dinner was served, again, "Mother, I want to talk to the king. I want to meet the king." He was very insistent, very stubborn about it. Mother didn't say anything, because mother, what would he say? She will say something, nothing will happen. They are very poor. So there was a saint who visited the place, the town, and the boy went to the saint with the same eagerness, fall down at the Maharaj place, the feet of the Maharaj, and said, "Maharaj, I have one wish." And his wish was sincere. He was very young, that I want to meet the king. So the Maharaj was very wise, and he looked at him and said, "Fine, my dear child. You see, the king is building his palace nearby. You go there, find a job, work, but don't take any wage. Don't take any money for what you are working. Give your best." Fall down at the Maharaj's feet, and he went there and he took the job. And he was very diligent in what he was doing. He gave his heart. Months pass, Every time they come to pay him, he would say no. So one day, the king was visiting, and he noticed him. He was hard working. He was working double when everybody was working. So he observed him, and he said, he went to the minister, and he said, "Who is this guy?" And the minister said, "That is a strange fellow." "Why is he a strange fellow?" He said, "Do you see, he has been working so hard, but he don't take any wages for his work. He don't take money for his work." So he said that this is his household, and he feels very proud to work, for his own house. In his own house, nobody pay him. So he feels that this is his own house. He is working for that. No, he don't want to take any money for it. Then the king decided to meet him. So the king went to him and called him. The moment he saw the king, he ran and fall down at the king's feet. And the king said to him, "I heard that you don't take any money for your work. Why is that so?" He said, "My king, I have seen you and you have spoken to me. That is my paid. I don't want anything else." Months, years have passed. That was his determination. He didn't want anything. He didn't take anything. So he fell down at the feet of the king. So the king looked at him, saw that this one is a good one. So the king took him to his palace and made him a minister. So he started working with the king, and he was the same attitude was there. He was selfless in whatever he was doing. So he worked. Many years later, the king married his daughter. After some time, the king married his daughter with him. And again, after some years, the king didn't have any son. He handed over the kingdom to him. Such a beautiful story, isn't it? So who is the story? What does that represent, The king is Bhagwan himself. And in this world, in this reality, we call ourselves Das and Dasi. We are all eternal servant of Sri Hari. But how do the work that we do, our sadhana, our prayer, our chanting, this is the hymn, This is the work. How do we pray? Is it selfless or with selfish motive? Mind, desire? With which attitude we come to him? The saint is a Sadguru who come to remind. But your service to Bhagavan have to be selfless. It have to be without any egoistic motive behind it. Pray for the sake of praying. Love for the sake of loving. You know. The moment you start expecting, the moment you start praying, putting your demand upon, then whatever you demand for, that's what you will receive. So Bhagavan doesn't take notice of that. Those which is selflessly, for the sake of praying, pray. For the sake of love, they pray. For the sake of Bhagavan himself, the king himself, who want to meet the king, nothing else, to have a glimpse of Bhagavan himself. They dedicate themselves for that. Bhagavan will come. And when Bhagavan will come, he will take, he have taken, like he have seen inside of all of you, something. He have taken you on board. He have already given you his name, which means you belong to me. Come. Come on board. Let's journey together. But that is not all. You are already in his kingdom. As a devotee, you are like the minister. But he married the daughter. The daughter of Bhagavan is Bhakti. Without Bhakti, you can't attain him. Even that Bhakti itself, that grace of devotion, like my friend will say, devotion in itself is a grace. No one can force you, no one can tell you, oh, love Bhagavan, love God, serve him. Because you didn't know about service before, now you know about service, you serve. And that is the grace of bhakti which he have given. And finally, he will give his kingdom. Which means he will elevate those who have given themselves to him. He will elevate them. He will give himself. And this is the journey. The story is our journey. How we approach him. Which attitude we approach him. If we are already full, he can't fill us with his love. If we are filled with our own expectation, our own arrogance, we are our own pride, how would he fill you? First you have to empty yourself. No? That's why it is said, you don't put old wine in the new wine. Everything will get contaminated. You don't put new wine in an old barrel. No? Everything will get contaminated. So the turning of the page is important for transformation to happen. If you hold so tightly on your past, that's what everybody do. They hold so tightly on the past. You can't move forward. And this is true poison which exists in the mind of human, which is the regret of the past and the expectation of the future. These are two things that one holds so dearly. How many times we sit and think about the past? How many times you think that, yes, I want to have a wonderful future. How would my future be? You're already into a fantasy world, no? Imagination. So when would you live? Bhagwan you can meet only in the now. In that present moment itself you can meet him. But no, we are not there. Our mind is so busy in the past, our mind is so busy in the future. In the past we sit in regret. Oh, I should have done this like that. Oh, I should have done that. You can't change. The past is past, it's finished. And what will be in the future? You don't know what will be in the future. If tomorrow you died, what future there will be? There will be a future? No, there is no future. You're dead. So, that's why it's important. But as long as you have all the faculty, as long as your mind functions properly, your body is in good shape, try your best to dedicate that to your spiritual growth also. Spiritual growth doesn't mean only let go of the world and run to an ashram. No. Wherever you are, make that spiritual. Whatever you're doing, infuse that with the same love that when you're sitting in your meditation, in your prayer. You don't need to become lazy, run away from the world and say, yes, I'm becoming spiritual. You see that, not in the ashram here because they work like very hard here. From morning till evening, there is no time to sit. But very often people have that ideas, inside of their mind. Spirituality is just to run and just sit. Hey, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. No, it's not like that. Whatever you're doing, make that spiritual. Whatever you're doing, let Bhagwan run towards you. With such heart, you don't need to go anywhere. He will come by his own accord to you. The moment he perceived, just as in the story, that selfless service that he was, that boy was rendering, was doing his work, the king come by himself. You don't need to go anywhere. He will come. You will become such a magnet, but he will have to come to you. And we have seen it in the life of saints. They have given example of that. Savatamali is an example of that. Pundalik is an example of that. Like that, there's so many great saints, just by themselves giving the best, giving the 100%, prioritizing. Prioritizing doesn't mean I do this and I don't do that. No. Spirituality is not a thing. Your spiritual path is not a thing that you can take it here and I give her 50%. A few days I will dedicate to my spiritual path and a few days I will not. No, it's not like that. It is in every day, day to day, whatever you're doing. And you find Bhagwan in that what you're doing. And that is spirituality. This is your life as a devotee. Your life as somebody which is on the spiritual path. And you will see that Bhagwan will come wherever you are. He will come by his own accord to meet you. In whatever ways. He have many ways. Like as it said, if a flower is lonely on the top of the Himalayas itself, growing, blossoming, how would the bees don't fly so high there, no? They will die. There's no bees there to pollinate it. He said, but if that is the case, Bhagwan himself will take the form of the bees and come to pollinate that flower. So Bhagwan, he himself will come. by his own accord. If you become such a magnet to attract him, then you have to look at yourself and see, when you call yourself a devotee, what is my attitude? Am I a devotee just when I'm in front of Guruji? Am I a devotee when I'm only in the ashram? No. I'm a devotee even in my own house. I'm a devotee whatever in my job. I'm a devotee wherever I am. No? You can't be separate from you. To reflect that, when you call yourself, reflect that devoteehood, if I can say that like that, in your day-to-day life, in whatever you do. Do it with the same attitude as if you're serving Sri Hari, Narayana. And by that, you see, you will inspire others, Because if you just let go of something and run away, that will scare the people. Because people, you see, get very scared very easily. If they don't comprehend something, they get scared. They don't want to understand, they get scared. Your family, when look at you, you're sitting there, they get scared. But invite them. Come, let us meditate a little bit and explain to them what you are doing, Otherwise, if you're a crazy person sitting there, don't know, understand what they are doing. So engage also your surrounding with you, If you try to be selfish, of course everybody will be against you. Or if you become very fanatic and try to push yourself upon the person. Somebody came to me and said, some of your devotees are very aggressive. They attack me because I'm long time with you, but I'm not. I didn't take devotee initiation. And these yellow people are very aggressive people. I'm very scared even to come sometimes because of their aggressiveness like that. I said, listen, nobody can force you to take devotee initiation. That have to come from you, Nobody can tell you. Of course, these people, you appreciate, your dedication and your determination. But this is not the way, That's why I was saying. I was listening to one YouTube, somebody sent me. You see people getting converted by masses everywhere. Do the people know what they are searching for? We talk about the grace of God, You can find the grace of God wherever you are. God is not limited to one religion or one way, one kind of thinking. Often people think like that, but we are the possessor of that grace, only us. But even in sometimes in Hindu tradition, I have heard, some people say, but only us we hold that truth. They become fanatic. Have they understood truly what is the true teaching of Bhagavad Gita? Have they understood truly what it means to be on the spiritual path? Have they understood truly what it is to love? They talk about love, but they have never felt love. They can tell you wonderful story, but yet they don't have faith. They are chanting, you can see them going around chanting, but yet they have not transformed themselves. They have not become, when we talk about devotee, they have not become a devotee. They have changed only on the outside, but inside they have not changed. Those who change in the inside, Bhagavan see that. Those who change in the inside truly and sincerely, they are at peace with everybody. But those who just change on the outside, they will never be at peace with anybody. Because it's just the outside. It's fake. It's not real. You have to constantly safeguard yourself in case you revert back. That's what they do. Because of their own insecurity, they have to become aggressive. They have to become defensive. They have to prove their point. But then how can you be a devotee when you have so much insecurity inside of you? You can't. When you say devotee, you have to have the security. But Bhagavan is with you. Of course, when somebody asks you a question, you have to know. You see, that's why knowledge is important. If you don't have knowledge also, it's not right. You as a devotee, you have to have knowledge about your path. You have to have knowledge of who Bhagavan is. You have to have a knowledge of what is the Atma. You have to have a certain knowledge. That's why the knowledge have been given by all these people, They work very hard for that. But how do you receive that? You receive it passively or actively? If you're passive with it, then you will be passive forever. You have to be active. And then when somebody comes, you can give that nectar to somebody else also. You can share that knowledge also with somebody else. But it's not to be weak, It's to be strong in your endeavor. To be strong into your path. Be strong into yourself. And that is how, when you become strong in yourself, Bhagavan will come to you. Realization will run towards you. Love will flow through you. It's not that you have to go and say, I go and give love. Love is not something that you hold like a pot. I'm giving you 10% of love. Take, please. It's not like going to a shop, you're buying 1 kilo of love. No, it is a fullness. Like that's what Bhagavan said. Partly I don't accept. I accept full. Jai Gurudev.